Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 10 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast. A little milestone for this whole project, 10 episodes, not a real big deal, but to me it is kind of a big deal. Just a cool little milestone for myself. Anyway, I just wanted to take a second to kind of advertise the store that I work at. I've talked about it on here numerous times with different people, but I work at a high-end clothing boutique in the south side of Pittsburgh called Threads on Carson. And we have a big selection. We have a really, really good inventory that we built up over the last couple years. So if you guys are into that stuff, into streetwear, designer clothes, just fashion in general, come check us out. We're at 1511 East Carson Street, right across from Mario's. We have so much shit in there, and we've gotten so much shit in there over the last couple years since we moved locations, and it's definitely the place to go. So come see us anytime. Follow us on Instagram at Threads on Carson. But yeah, I just definitely had to give them a shout out. I'm down there every weekend, so come check us out. Which brings me to my next point, which is my guest of this week. His name is Jay Swonick. Jay Swonick is someone that I've known for years. He's a real good friend of my brother, and that's how I met him. But he's always just been one of the nicest and most interesting people that I've ever met in my life since I've met him in the beginning. My first impression of him was going to his house, to his parents' house, and seeing his bedroom, and his bedroom was an all-white room with red paint splattered all over it like a fucking murder scene. And that was my first impression of Jay, and ever since then, I've always liked him, and he's always, it's just like a guy like that that's just super, super nice. I don't know, he's just always been a cool dude to me, and he does a lot of cool things that we talk about in this episode. His soccer number is episode 10. He's been supporting me since the beginning, and he was like, bro, let me get episode 10. That's my soccer number. And I was like, absolutely. I talk to anyone that's interesting, and this dude is, I'm underselling him by saying he's interesting. He does so much wild stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the episode. I appreciate you staying with me for 10 episodes. I'm going to just keep popping them out Thursdays. But yeah, I now present to you episode 10 of the podcast with Jay Swonick. I hope you enjoy it.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. So, what's in the cup? That's the segment. And explain what's in the cup.
So in my cup, currently there is orange juice that is high in pulp.
I myself am also someone who enjoys pulp.
It's like, oh man, it just tastes so.
It's like you're drinking
fucking
an orange.
good. Yeah, man, it's so good.
Antoinette doesn't like pulp, and I don't get it because it's like, why not just toss it in there?
Yeah, I can't say that I really enjoy oranges by themselves, just like eat an orange, but orange juice is, I don't know if it's the extra sugar they add in it for preservative or what.
Like, I'm opposite. I almost enjoy an orange more than orange juice. I almost never order orange juice. I'm more of an apple juice guy. But it seems to be that whenever I was growing up, my mom never bought apple juice. It was always just orange juice. So that's what was in the fridge.
Well, my dad likes screwdrivers, so it was always vodka and orange juice. So there was always orange juice in the house, and
makes sense.
Yeah, man.
Well, everyone that's listening doesn't know who you are, so you have to introduce yourself.
I am Jay Swonick.
Yeah.
Normal person extraordinaire.
Normal person.
Yeah. Not like all these artists and musicians and
all these different people that I have
and other
on here.
people. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like in the beginning of the podcast, you have to set it off with like a bang. So you got to have some people with like different like directed stories to kind of give you an idea of the template of the podcast that I hope to perfect. But I mean, I'm going to put out one a week minimum, so 52 guests a year. Like, it's going to add up. So I mean, not everyone is going to be like per se like a rapper, but you also have things that you do that are very interesting to me, at least, and I'm sure to people that listen. But so started off, where did you grow up?
I grew up in the upper 10th ward of McKeesport.
Upper 10th ward.
Yeah, over by where the elbow room is, up on the hill.
You been there forever?
Pretty much. I mean, I've had apartments in different parts of the city and stuff like that.
Though.
Yeah, majority of the time, yeah. And I just bought a house up there too.
Yeah, is that where your house is?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So it's like catty corner to my parents, but so on my street, my great grandfather in like the 20s and 30s built like 4 out of the 7 houses that are on the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so one of them that I just bought,
it was Swonick block.
Yeah, man. So it was
Your
sold.
grandfather on your dad's side?
Yeah. So it was sold out of the family by my grandfather, and now I just like bought it back.
That's dope.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty excited.
I bet.
It's a project though.
I mean, I would expect nothing less. I'm gonna buy a house and build it how I want to build it. I mean, that's
and this one's. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's my dream home, but it's definitely something that I wanted to own. Because I mean, I also own, that is maybe like a third of an acre up on the hill too. So I own like just a blank empty lot that's like a third of an acre that I want to build a like tiny house out of shipping containers on.
Yeah, like that's definitely something that I've marked down that we're going to talk about. Tiny houses.
Nice. Yeah.
I am very, very. I used to be. I mean, like, I guess I still am. I just have a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I have way too much stuff that I never use and I will never need. But I feel that I'll never get rid of it unless like I have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I try to live as minimally as possible without buying stuff, except, I mean, my video games are like the only thing that it's like I like splurge on.
It's difficult.
And collect.
It's difficult to live minimally. Like, I see shit and I'm just like, it feels good to spend money.
It does. There's no doubt about that.
It's terrible.
But I saw a documentary recently.
Minimalism on Netflix?
Minimalism,
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like, it's like the question you just ask yourself, like, how is this going to make my life better when you're looking at something?
Me and Antoinette, so yesterday I brought home 4 of the exact same hoodies, just different colors from Threads. And Antoinette was like, what the fuck are you bringing home these clothes for? Because, like, I have more clothes than she will ever have. And, I mean, I probably wear maybe 10 shirts.
Yeah,
maybe 10.
I'm the same.
I wear
way.
the same exact. I mean, now I the boss at Threads, like, he always rags on me because I wear fucking Levi's and like we're this high end boutique. And he was like, bro, like, you're not allowed to wear these Levi's here anymore. And like, we went to Vegas for this Agenda trade show where we like go meet face to face with like all these big name brands. He was like, you ain't fucking wearing Levi's there. So he's like, you pick out some shit and you put it on and we're gonna just go with that. And to be fair, I'm not wearing them now, but they are the most comfortable jeans I've ever owned so far. The brand is Scotch and Soda.
Okay.
But
do you sell them with Threads?
we sell them with Threads. All the heat down there. But back to growing up. So how old are you right now?
I am 32.
And I know you through my brother, obviously, but
Yeah.
for us, obviously, but not anyone listening.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were in my brother's grade.
No. He was a year older than me. So
okay.
I met your brother at 2 weeks before school. We started like soccer training camp all the time. So, and it's fun. I love telling this story about how I met your brother because it's like he's one of the most unique people.
Yeah, I'm gonna have him on here eventually.
But so I'm this little 10th grader or whatever, and all these like upperclassmen and stuff like that around, and your brother just kind of rolls up in that big ass old Blazer
GMC
thing.
Jimmy
Thing that you used
with
to
a
have.
big ass system.
Yeah. So he got out the car and he walked up and said hi to Hasselhoff or something, like a couple other people.
Yeah.
And he walked up to me. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And then
Yeah, he still does it like that.
just so blunt and in your face about it. And like ever since that moment, I mean, like we've been besties.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you and Nor, and I mean, like, that's probably you two are probably the closest ones out of all the kids in high school and everything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
People fade away, though.
He had me hooked when he was taking me to Wendy's to hang out with all the upperclassmen and
That's
stuff.
what he did with
like
me
that.
too. Whenever
Yeah.
I was real young, it was a wild feeling to be in like 5th grade and have your brother that's like a junior, like be cool enough to like take you to hang out with like all of his friends at the hangout.
Absolutely.
Like, in my high school, our hangout was Sheets in Bell Vernon, and it was just like, now that I think about it, I'm just like,
Bell Vernon?
what a
How far
disgusting.
is that from where you were?
I was in Elizabeth, so it was like 15 minutes. It wasn't far, but like it was just like a disgusting time. It was like I had like a redneck phase where I was like wearing big ass like 9-inch shit kicker boots, and I had like flannels, and I was just like, I tried chewing, and like I was just very impressionable.
But you
but
quit
like,
squares though. How
dude,
long
it's
you been?
Probably almost 4 years now. Probably a little bit over 3.5. It's the best decision I've ever made in my life. I cannot believe I smoked cigarettes for that long. Like probably 7 years. Whatever, we're getting off topic. So growing up, you grew up at 10th Ward, McKeesport School District the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What was
like? I mean, I went to Catholic school for like kindergarten, first and second grade. Third grade, then I went to McKeesport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was like an everyday day for Jay Swonick back whenever you're in like middle school? I mean, like can't do too much, can't drive.
No, I mean, I had a kid that I grew up with, Joe Jones, who lived across the street. We used to hang out, and his sister was a couple years older. I mean, she used to hang out, but
Just
nothing.
chilling.
As a kid, I was pretty boring until like I got a car. And then,
would you play video games back then?
Oh, yeah.
You were always into video games?
Yeah. So my parents would always buy, like, when I have distinct memories of like opening my NES and my sister being all happy and stuff, and then never getting to play it because I was always always on it. And then in like 7th grade, my parents bought me a computer, like my own personal computer, and that was a mistake.
That's
because then I was on it like until 2-3 in the morning, and then go to school the next day. So
how old were you? You said when you got this computer?
Like 7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
So that was like right whenever you're old enough to like start like kind of like shying away from like and doing your own shit, finding out what you really like.
Yeah. So I'd have like, and I had a TV in my room too. I don't know like what they were thinking, but I had a TV in my room too. So I have Adult Swim on Cartoon Network on my TV while I'm playing fucking Pokemon on like an emulator on my computer.
What were like your favorite games back then?
Zelda, Mario, Pokemon. I mean, Zelda is still hands down my favorite game.
That's of all time.
That's your favorite game? Absolutely. Any Zelda game I'll play through. No, not for the NES. The one for
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, for 64.
That's everyone's.
It's so fucking good. It's like a masterpiece of a game.
My favorite part of that entire game was shooting the jewels with the slingshot
at the shooting gallery.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like that was my favorite thing.
I can dig
do.
it.
But video games were like, I mean, they were relevant in my house. Like I remember for Christmas I remember walking out, and there was a big trash can over this big ass tube TV, and then my dad got me that, and my mom and dad got me that, and then I opened up a N64 and GoldenEye, Pokemon Snap, fucking Tony Hawk, and all that good shit. And like my brother was just always better than me at every game, and it was just like I was never a huge video game nerd, but like he would play something and have to finish it till the end.
Yeah, he's still that way.
Yeah,
but even like so then I started like in high school, I started like build my own computers, and then all of my friends just decided that they were just going to camp out at my house, and we were going to connect all our computers together and play like multiplayer games on a LAN like that. Yeah, man.
LAN parties.
Yeah, man. So we'd be doing
sick.
that. I mean, we'd stay up for fucking
days,
36 hours at a time just playing, sleep for 2 hours, and then get up and start playing again.
Yeah, once you die, the other person hops on and shit.
Man,
that's I mean, like, I feel like that was like, I mean, I did that shit whenever I was younger too. Halo, like we would have like the
on the
two
Xbox.
TVs like turned away from each other, and it was just like screaming at each other, like sitting right next to each other. I think that was way funner than like being on Xbox Live and shit.
Yeah.
But so your parents were into video games and stuff?
My dad will play. He played World of Warcraft with me for a number of years.
Yeah.
He'll play like Elder Scrolls stuff, like Skyrim.
Do you prefer computer games or console games?
No, I definitely prefer computer games. If I'm like console games, like I have a PS4, and I really only have it for like a handful of games.
Yeah.
I have a Switch for the Nintendo Switch, and I mean, I'll buy every Nintendo console that comes out, no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, I prefer to play on PC all the time.
That's what's up, though. I feel like the hardcore gamers are definitely like PC people. Like my cousin John, he prefers it. It's if you delve into that, like I feel like those people prefer it.
Yeah, I built your cousin's computer for him.
Did you?
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, I went over, and I didn't come over, so went over his house, and we ordered all the parts, and Amanda's sitting there like staring at us like we were fucking nerds, like we are.
Yeah, just building a computer. My buddy Dylan built his computer too. It's way too much for me. I was never like that into the whole the techie side.
I mean,
of it.
it's pretty simple. Everything fits into one slot, and everything's color coded. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure I could figure it out. I just never did. Matt kind of took that over for me. So besides for video games, did you play? When did you start playing soccer?
Probably like 3 or 4. I've been
since
Portview, Portview
long
Athletic
time ago.
Association. They used to have like a Little Tyke stuff, and actually, so probably like I was like 6 or something like that. My brother-in-law played on my team up there.
Oh, really?
Like randomly, strangely. Yeah, we didn't know. Didn't know each other or anything
now.
like that, but. Yeah, he pulled out like this old picture, and there was me like smiling up front, and he was standing in the back. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that's crazy for sure.
Destiny.
Yeah, destiny. Absolutely. So soccer was like, I mean, it's obviously, I keep saying obviously, but it's like not everyone is in my life, but it's a huge part of your life.
Yeah. I coach now some indoor soccer, futsal.
Training?
Yeah, we do train. We train 6 days a week with multiple age groups.
I have this marked down on my list of things that I wanted to talk to you about.
You've
always said, you don't say we have practice or anything. You say we have training.
No, yeah, you train, man.
I know, and I want you to explain, because you explained it to me, and I was like, holy shit, like that makes so much better.
Yeah. So you can, like, when you practice something, you practice to like gain proficiency in something, which denotes that there's a ceiling that when you reach it, practicing is not going to get you past it. Training, you train to get better. You train your body, you train your mind. It's all like a holistic view to basically training whatever you want to get better in. So you can go to training and learn what you have to practice individually. So we'll practice set pieces, like how we want people to run off the ball.
But as a whole, it's training.
But as a whole, the whole thing, the whole stretching, the warm-ups, the coaching aspect of it, the set pieces, shooting, passing, it's all encompassing in training.
See, I like that. I think that's a great way to look at it. I'm surprised no one's ever thought about that before.
No, I mean, and I've been...
Is that something that you thought up, or is that something that you've taken from someone, like as you yourself calling it training?
Yeah, so it comes from Ferris and Masood's dad, Dave.
Yeah.
So he's the one who runs the organization that I coach for. He owns it. So, I mean, I've been coaching. It's like my 12th season now. So it comes just from like him repeatedly saying and being around and seeing his philosophy on everything and
you soak
picking
things
up on it. Yeah.
That's what you got to do. Get better at things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So soccer. What was now in high school? Obviously, you played soccer, did some video games, things like that. Was there anything else you were into? Like, did you play any other sports, anything like that? Like, what did you do besides sports and video games?
I mean, I did wrestling for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I took AP classes and whatnot, so I was
a little bit of a brain
doing that a little bit. I wouldn't say
bit
very
of a
much
brain.
though.
Now, when did you get into D&D? When did that come in? D&D for anyone is Dungeons and Dragons.
So that came in around the same time that all of my friends were like landing over my house. So sometimes we would just play some Dungeons and Dragons, and then somebody get pissed off, and then we'd all leave and go play like World of Warcraft. So that might have been like right after high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get introduced to that? To want to start playing that? Because I feel like the majority of people hear Dungeons and Dragons, they think about a bunch of fucking smelly kids in a basement just playing make believe. It's much more than that, though.
So, my boy Masood, who is actually he played all through like middle school and stuff like that.
He was like he was like heavy.
Yeah. So he basically introduced all of us to it, and he started running like a campaign for us. And then I took over. I ran a campaign for some time, and then we kind of fell off. But in recent years, it's picked up again.
Now, how would you define what Dungeons and Dragons is for people that don't know?
I mean, it's an imaginative game where you get together with your friends and drink some beer, smoke some weed if that's what you're into. And
that. And but it's just like it blew me away. It's like literally just like you can create an entire world with certain guidelines. Like there's books, there's some rules to follow.
I mean, the closest thing that somebody might be more familiar with that I could compare it to would be like an open world video game, something like a Skyrim or Grand Theft Auto, where you're just set in a universe, and
you could choose to do whatever you want. If you want to go pick up that rock that's sitting there, you can go pick up that rock. If you roll better,
throw it off of somebody's head. If you want.
Yeah, you can do literally anything you want.
Yeah.
So like, I remember whenever I was growing up, probably middle school, I was always into I played Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Like I collected Pokemon cards and shit, but like I don't think I've ever played a game of Pokemon. I only just had them to collect them. Do you remember them Burger King nights, the trading card nights? It's like you go there and you had to trade. You got to trade cards with other kids. So like I was into that, but like I never played the actual game. I always thought it was like kind of dumb.
Yo, Pokemon and Magic are like still big time. Like they
I know.
Run tournaments.
My cousin Josh is
like
played down in like Florida for like the Grand Nationals or some shit.
Ridiculous.
This was like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I was like, is that even still around, Pokemon? But Magic, I actually went to so I played Magic. I got involved with Magic. My brother will say it's from him, but I swear to God it's not. It was from my other cousin, John Olm. He immediately like I spent a lot of time over his house. My brother would be at school, my mom would be at work, my dad would be at work, so I would go over there after, and his mom would kind of just like babysit me. And he just had like a crazy amount of like toys, movies, everything like that. So I hung out with him a lot. And he got me into Magic cards, and I remember him showing to me them, and I've always been like a fan of like collecting things and wanting to like collect things. So we would play those, play action figures, all this shit. But so I probably played Magic for maybe 6 years, 7 years back then. So I had a lot of cards. Fast forward to my job that I was working in before this one. There was a guy there who was kind of kind of nerdy. Like, we got along really well because, like, I'm definitely kind of nerdy as well to an extent. And I was like, have you ever played Magic? And he was like, oh, man, I still play all the time. So I dug out all my cards, brought them into work. We started playing. I started getting into it pretty heavy. And he was like, oh, why don't you come to this Magic Grand Prix at the
That's pretty awesome.
convention center? Yeah. I mean, like, I was like, yeah, I mean, fuck it, I'll go down and play. I thought I was doing all right because, like, I could keep up with him.
Yeah.
I just went there and got wiped.
Got spanked.
Dude, I just got wiped. It's a whole different world of I mean, like, I say nerd, but it's not a negative it's not a negative term.
Yeah,
it's just like that is a nerd world that I mean,
well, it's like my
I'm novice.
My cousin right now, he's 16, and he plays this video game called Super Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah.
He plays it like on a competitive, like he'll compete like locally, like regionally and stuff. So we'll go to like Washington DC. We've gone the past 2 Augusts. We're gonna more than likely go this August, and he plays down there, and just the skill level and the time you have to dedicate to this stuff is
yeah, it's
unreal.
probably, I would always get too frustrated to play video games.
Yeah, he got his ass beat the first year. It was like he went 0-2, and last year he went like 3-2. So he he was like super happy and everything like that.
I can't. I'm still not into video games. I just bought an Xbox like probably 3-4 months ago. Whenever that, not even 2-3 months ago, whenever that new Call of Duty came out, because my friends
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, like my friends all moved away. Oh, not all of them, but like we're just all fucking busy. So like they play video games, so like we could go online, and it's pretty much just like hanging out. But I don't have time to play it, and I don't really like it.
I don't have time between work, fucking coaching, trying to get my house in order, and just
being an adult, you don't have free time. No, it's like time is very limited. I come home from work, get home from work. By the time I'm done, it's like 5 o'clock, and like I go to bed by like 9:30. So I got to fit all this bullshit in 4.5 hours. Yeah. But back to high school real quick. So after high school, you went to college with my brother, Penn State Barron.
Yeah, okay. I went there for a year though.
And
then I failed out and came home.
Oh, that's all right. That one, I mean, whenever I did visit him, there was one thing that always stuck in my head. In your room, you had a computer tower that was built out of Legos.
Yeah, man, that's where I get my handle that I use on all my video games.
What is it?
Lego Mania.
Lego Mania, that's it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I built that. I don't remember when I built that. Obviously sometime in high school. Yeah. But yeah, it had like 4 towers that all had fans in it. 2 of them were blowing out. 2 of them were like sucking in to kind of keep the air pressure and airflow. And you press like one Lego and the CD tray would come out.
Dude, I remember it. And
it was badass.
I was so blown away by it. I was like, this dude is nuts. Because I think right before that might have been one of the first times I met you. I actually went to your house, and your bedroom, this is another thing I had written down. Your bedroom was very intimidating. My brother was like, oh, we're going to go to my friend's house. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, older kid, like, fuck yeah, I'll go. And I walk in your room, and it's a white room with blood, with red paint splattered all over it.
Yeah, it was, I actually want to, in my house that I own, I want to make that my guest room. So
that's a good idea for your guests.
People come and visit.
That's funny.
Yeah, where did I see that? I saw that on MTV Cribs, one of the episodes. Like, I forget, like somebody had it like as their guest room.
And that was your idea from it? That's what I was going to ask you. Like, where'd that come from?
I was like, that is so sick. Because I was listening to like a lot of like heavy metal, like death metal and stuff like that back then. So I was like, that is sick.
Yeah, I mean, like real metal. Too much metal for one hit. Yeah. Devil Horn 666. So like, were you a big movie guy?
Yes and no.
Like were you... Like, I ask everyone that just because, like, me and Matt were, like, I mean, always just watching movies. So, like, it was a huge point in my life, or a huge part of my life. So, like, I always ask everyone.
Yeah, like, I enjoy movies, but I don't.
Yeah, you weren't like.
I'm not like, and especially, and it's like now, I don't hardly ever go to the movie theater unless it's
Star Wars,
yeah.
Dude, back then, It was lit. Every weekend we would go to Blockbuster. My mom would let me and my brother pick one out. Dude, you would go to Blockbuster, have to get a movie. You'd walk up to like something crazy like Face Off with Nick Cage, and not see nothing behind there. And you're like, fuck, it ain't here. Gotta wait till next week to get it.
Dude, me and my boy See Murder went to see that movie at, in Century 3.
Rainbow Shopping Center. Or not Rainbow Shopping Center, Southland 9.
No, not even that one. The one up on top of the hill back by Dunham's and where that
back in the day.
Yeah. We went and saw that up. My mom had to go in and give us permission to go in because we were in like, I don't know, maybe 9th grade or something.
Dude, that movie's still good.
I like it.
I mean, it's a terrible movie, but
Well,
it's just nostalgic.
Some of my favorite movies though are like 80s horror flicks that are like super campy and like you can see like the like special effects how bad I love
Evil
that.
Dead and all that shit.
Evil Dead. So Army of Darkness is probably my favorite out of the whole series. You fuck with the Ash vs. Evil Dead series?
I mean, I don't have cable, so I just
man.
my life is Netflix and Hulu, and
I think it's on Netflix now. It just went up on Netflix.
I'll watch
like
it then
month.
for sure because like me and Antoinette are both like horror freaks, but like I was pirating a little bit whenever I first moved here, and then Verizon put the kibosh on that. They sent me 2 warnings, and they sent me another one. They said if you continue to do this, we'll pursue legal action.
Oh, damn.
And I heard from a lot of people that it ain't true, but I wasn't rolling the dice no more.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you don't even really have to. I mean, you can really for like fucking $30, you can put together a package and get like a Hulu, Netflix,
they ain't
Amazon,
getting none of that. They ain't getting none of my money. I
what?
pay for it all separately anyway. It sucks. I probably should reevaluate it.
Not even that. I don't necessarily mean like a package altogether. I just mean like between like $30, you can get enough. That
absolutely.
You have shit to
absolutely,
watch.
because like Hulu's $11, Netflix is like now fucking $12.
Yeah.
But where was I going with it? We were talking about
Movies.
Yeah, but we were talking about Netflix. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what movie I fucking like? If you download a movie, if you download an old movie, that passes through their little filter.
It's all
But
the
if you
new
download,
stuff.
if you download like a newer movie, you get caught. You know what movie they got me on? Fucking Fear with Mark Wahlberg from the 90s, bro. Like I downloaded Fear. I was like, man, I want to watch that movie. Real creepy, Marky Mark. I was like, might as well watch it. Letter in the mail. They were like,
So what did that letter say? Like, we know you've been downloading movies.
They literally said like something like you're illegally downloading this, you're pirate, or like whatever. I don't know. They definitely knew.
Damn.
But it was enough to freak me out for me to stop.
And that's probably why they send the letters. I mean, honestly, now with that Fire Stick and stuff like that, you get a Fire Stick.
I need to get into that for sure.
My parents have one. It's pretty nice, but
whatever.
Yeah, I don't have fucking time to watch movies.
I come home and like I'll get it, and if I do have time, I just watch The Office just over and over again.
That's the same way. I'll put on Star Trek and I'll watch some fucking Star Trek.
Get out of here, you, my brother. Can you believe my brother sat down and watched every single Star Trek
all in a row? It took him like 2.5 years or something like that.
For anyone listening, my brother is literally probably the most interesting person that a lot of people ever met, and he's going to be on here soon enough. He's a stubborn fucking mule, though. So we're going to link that up together. But once he's on, everyone will understand.
You might get jealous that I was on first. And
hey, you asked, dude. He should have reached out and asked. Yeah. But regardless, after high school and everything like that, you said you failed out of Penn State, came home. What was the move? What'd you do?
Well, I went to CCAC for a bit.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, so I stopped going there.
Typical for anyone young in the world.
Yeah.
We talked about it in the last 3 podcasts. It's fucking insane.
And then, so I moved out to Ohio and lived with my aunt and uncle for a bit, for probably close to a year. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then I came back, and then after just like really not having a job, feeling shitty about myself, I came back here. Actually buckled down and like went to CCAC and started on the path, and then
What were you majoring in?
So I didn't know what I was majoring in when I started
general
again,
education, stuff like that.
And then I took a Psych 101 course, and I was like, man, this psychology stuff's pretty interesting.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. And then I went through, got my undergrads in psych, and then I went through in the graduate school and my master's degrees in social work.
That's what's up. That's a long road, I bet.
Yeah, an expensive road, but
Expensive as fuck, dude. School is just nuts. We share something in common. I failed out of Slippery Rock my first year. I went to school. To be fair, though, I went to school to be a teacher, elementary ed and special ed. But it's just like, I mean, I don't know how you muscle a kid into like buckling down and deciding their life right there. Like, it's nuts to me. But came back, went to CCAC, same thing as you. Like, how did you what'd you do for work then? Like, what were you
I had
doing?
some odd jobs. I so when I excuse me, when I started at Pitt for my undergrad, I was working at GameStop. So I worked there, and then I basically so when I graduated school, I had a job lined up. So instead of actually going to work at GameStop when they scheduled me for it, I went to a tournament for the Barbarians.
Yeah.
And coaching a tournament, they called me up like, well, you're supposed to be at work. I was like, yeah, I'm in New York City, so I'm not going to be in work.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I already had the job lined up and everything after I graduated.
Fuck 'em.
So.
Why do they only give you like 30 cents for a game? I mean, like, what's up with that scale?
It's a business, man.
You know that's
it's
crazy.
It is. It's a
I
business.
took probably, I took 2 Giant Eagle bags full of I had a PS3, all kinds of games. This dude straight up looked at me and said, like, I'll give you $48. I was like, what?
Should have came to me first, man.
No, that's bullshit. They take advantage of young kids for sure, GameStop.
Yeah, I mean, but...
How much are video games really worth, right?
I mean, yeah, they're only worth as much as somebody's willing to pay for them. Like
See,
anything.
I didn't have nothing good anyway. I had like Johnny Mosley skiing and shit like that.
So that's the thing. There's a lot of...
Dumbass shit.
Like, and you get everybody thinks, oh, I got mad in 2005. There's fucking 94 million that were sold. Like, that, it's worth a nickel.
So, odd jobs,
yeah,
GameStop, things like that. How did you decide that you were going to kind of pursue, like, what's your title now at work?
So right now I am a clinician 2 at Western Psychiatric Institute and Clinic.
Now, what is... and dumb it down a little bit.
So I basically, for my job, I do outpatient stuff. I do outpatient therapy, and I work on a team that's called the community treatment team for Western Psych.
Yeah.
And we keep people with schizophrenia out of the hospital. Basically, that's our job, because it's cheaper to pay us to keep them out of the hospital than it is to have them repeatedly go back to the hospital and stay inpatient in the hospital.
That's a good. I mean, like, that's a good point. I would have never thought about that.
Yeah,
Probably.
we charge people quite a bit of money. Like it's still
and for
pretty
it to still
expensive
be cheaper
for
than the
services,
hospital.
But yeah, I mean, like a hospital stay. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it can
insane.
Like it can be like $10,000 a day.
The comedian that we just had on here, Matt Light, he had cancer, and he was talking about like chemo treatments and stuff like that, and each one was like $60,000.
Yeah.
And he was like, "How the fuck do they expect me to pay for that?"
Yeah.
He was like, "I got cancer whenever I was like 24."
It's crazy, and not to steer this conversation anyway, but man, richest country in the world, and we can't afford to keep people alive. Like, come on, man.
It is. It's a whole different topic. That the last podcast that we had was on a more serious note, so we'll steer it back to the other way.
Yeah.
How did you kind of make the decision to go into, the field that you did?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the main reasons why is because, like when I was an undergrad, guy from the School of Social Work at Pitt came and talked to us, and he said, "Yeah, this line of work is like 85% female and like 15% male, so men are always like sought after in this position." So I was
almost like the opposite is like for
everywhere
women.
else.
Yeah.
So
That's I guess that's a good enough reason.
Have some job security and stuff.
Plus, you said you like psychology whenever you took it.
Yeah, and I think over the course of my years, I've learned how to deal a lot with people and be able to like network well and kind of use my skills to get done what needed to be done as far as for other people. Because like my job after undergrad was doing what they call like a therapeutic staff support. So I was working with kids who had autism and like working on behaviors and stuff like that, and just dealing with families and the kid, and, and with coaching as well, dealing with people in that way. Like it just kind of all fell into place.
Yeah, I feel like that dealing with kids with mental disorder, even people in general with mental disorders, like you have to. What's the best way to say it? Maybe you're like thrown to the wolves sounds bad, but like it's just like an intense situation. Whereas like something so menial in another conversation, like it'll probably benefit you.
It definitely can be intense, but it's not intense all the time. But whenever it does become to a point where it's a crisis situation, like you have to have done everything that you could in order to like mitigate the amount of that crisis, because it can definitely be bad.
Yeah, I mean like
people attempting to kill themselves.
Yeah,
constantly.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm sure that it's like whereas like I'm like a piping designer. I don't really have like some crazy consequences, you know what I mean? But like whereas someone like you, like you're speaking with people that are like have a switch that could just like fucking go nuts.
So just besides people that have schizophrenia, we also have, and I don't want to get too technical with like disorders and stuff like that, but so in like the manual for psychiatric disorders, there's like an Axis 2, which is personality disorder.
Okay.
And these are people that are extremely childish in their behaviors at times, and they'll like throw a lot of hissy fits and stuff like that. But these are like grown ass adults.
Yeah.
So one of the people that I do therapy with, she is constantly ready to kill herself. Ready to kill herself. Like if one little strand of hair on her head is out of place, like she's overdosing. So that's where the intensity for me comes in, like week in and week out, trying to help this person kind of get past.
Yeah, I mean,
stressors of like little menial stuff like that.
Yeah, like other people have jobs that are just like, I mean, I don't know. I think that sometimes my job is like stressful and shit like that. It's like I couldn't imagine like the kind of shit that you have to deal with, and it's obviously like a little bit more of a.
Yeah, I mean, they're a stressor, but it's also like, then I got other people that are, who I really enjoy going to see, because they get like, they think that they are what's called like an avatar, and they get voices and messages from aliens that are telling them to be a good person and eat healthy.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's pretty wild. So I really enjoy going to someone like that so that I can talk to them and just really just see what the heck's going on in their head.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we obviously don't know what's.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine what.
And who am I to say that he's not receiving?
Yeah, exactly.
receiving
like who knows? But I mean, like for you to be someone that's like working with these people, it's probably an interesting. I mean, it's an interesting profession, I'm sure. Now
it is. But again, he would like him and other people, whatever that I would be working with before we had got to them, were going down the Western Psych like day in and day out, like multiple times a day.
That's what you're saying, like the money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, so it costs basically the taxpayers a lot less to pay me to go and keep him out of the hospital as opposed to going and having him in the hospital, because I mean, people don't have insurance. Like they might have health insurance and stuff like that, but they don't have like, so behavioral health insurance is like separate too. So a lot of behavioral health insurance is county funded, so from your county tax dollars. Yeah. As opposed to like a private insurance.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, like it's definitely wild.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of nuances to it.
Yeah, I bet. Now you like in school, what was your end goal like of the like, are you doing what you wanted to do in school?
I definitely wanted to go more into the like medical and psychiatric field as opposed to like CYF or family systems or something like that. Yeah. Because I did like my internship at Children's Hospital, enjoy that a ton. Like I really like medical social work.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think I'm done. I want to actually go. I want to go back to school and hopefully at some point get a PhD in something.
Yeah.
'Cause I think my end goal is teaching in college or at university.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be a good teacher.
I think so.
You definitely look the part of a teacher. Them round glass. You got new glasses though.
I did. Yeah, these I get these maybe a month ago or so.
You straight up look like John Lennon before.
Nah, I still have those glasses.
Yeah, but like it was like it's like you were embodying him. But you definitely look similar. Anyway, you said your end goal was to teach. Now, would you have to have a PhD to teach?
You don't necessarily need one, but I mean, I'd like to do. Yeah, it'd be easier. I'd like to do some research too. Like I'm very interested in how like video games affect us socially. So like me and all my friends playing, like how to like it's basically like the main glue between all of my friends because if we're together, we're not talking about sports or anything like that. Like
it's video games, Dungeons and Dragons.
So that's how video games affect our social lives, and even like I said with my dad playing like World of Warcraft with me and stuff like that, how they can affect other relationships and stuff like that in our life.
Now, with what's going on in the world now, with like like these shootings and like school shootings, things like this, mentally unstable people doing this wild stuff. Do you think that I see a lot of people saying like, oh, it's the video games, it's the movies. Do you think the video games have anything to do with like? I don't. I think it's all dependent on the person. I mean,
yeah. I mean, if you're predisposed to be like a violent person, like I mean it doesn't help. And if you're like an 11-year-old kid who's playing Grand Theft Auto, like
it's impressionable.
When I was younger, I'd be like, no man, fuck that, video games don't do that to people, whatever. But now that I'm older and I'm like looking back, like I mean these games are
beating hookers for money,
intense. And
stealing their money. It's
yeah.
just nuts because like,
but I mean I in the short, so just from my like research and readings, it's like research.
You better turn that alarm off.
Research, I thought I did turn it off. Research is saying that, it's like short-term impulsiveness is increased whenever you're playing like violent video games, stuff like that, and it usually dissipates after a while. So it's not like
direct
like a direct causal thing. Like you play more video games and you're on like an upward slope of being more violent. The thing that it does mostly is like desensitizes us to violence.
I can understand that for sure. Like I definitely can understand like that argument. Like I don't see it personally, but like I can understand that argument. But like the things that like I have Facebook because
the podcast.
I mean, yeah, but like honestly, it's not even that big on the podcast. Instagram is the dominant social media site, absolutely hands down. But I keep Facebook just because like I don't necessarily participate in discussions unless it's like unless it's something that like I'm like very very passionate about, and it's very rarely that I jump in, but like I'll read what people say, and like it's fucking nuts to me that like I read an article, whether it be about Trump saying something about these shootings or about some other celebrity, and like I read these people like oh yeah, it's because kids are playing video games like 6 hours a day and things like that, and it's like I mean I understand that like some of that could have some accuracy, but like it's the people that are just like 100%, like they just like pedal to the floor. They're like these video games are the worst, like this is what it's for. Like I mean it obviously ain't. Like there's millions of kids that play video games, and like it doesn't happen to everyone.
So not even just with politics or video games or whatever, anything in life, there's always more than just extremists. Black or white. Dude, there's always more than just left or right. You know,
it's just an insane world to live in because like we all have an opinion now, and it's all vocal, and we could all just like say what we want without anything.
And I like that.
Yeah, I like it. It's just
but people have to be revealing. A bit more tempered and they have to be able to filter out the noise a little bit better, I think.
I like that everyone has an opinion, because it makes it easier to just fucking hit unfollow on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, people just say some dumb shit and you're just like, I cannot believe
Yeah.
that, like, I even had a different idea about you. But
So this is not necessarily about Facebook, but I just thought about this because the internet. But
yeah,
what do you think the greatest invention of all time is?
the greatest invention of all time.
Yeah.
I mean,
refrigeration is pretty cool. The internet's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to, I mean, so is antiseptics and
Yeah.
like medicines and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a hard question. I would say the internet. Like,
You think so?
I mean, as far as like the greatest, like the most important is a different invention. Like, refrigeration is obviously
see that.
important, but like as far as like the greatest, I mean, I feel like it would have to be the internet, right? The internet
I'm of the
has
same.
opened the door to, I mean, literally anything anyone wants in the world. I could fucking go online and look up how to become a beekeeper. and
Dude, I got you on that.
I
don't
know,
worry.
and that's where we're going after this. I had to figure out that was a perfect segue. But the internet, dude, is just nuts. I mean, I don't know how anyone could.
I'm in the same boat, but if you would consider fire an invention, like I think fire and being able to tame fire
absolutely
is probably the most important.
Water
thing.
filtration,
Yeah.
like if you want to get down to it and dissect that, what's the greatest invention, you could sit there for hours and say that. But as far as like what I think is like the world would not be where it is today without the internet. But like we wouldn't have the internet if we didn't have fire. So it's
Yeah.
just like a snowball effect. And it's just like you got to have the beginning to be able to build where we are now. But as far as where we are now, it'd have to be the internet. Like,
I
there's
think so,
anything
too.
you need. You could shop. You could literally never leave your house again and get
Yeah.
anything you need to your house.
and still have
ever.
that connectedness to other people. That
Yeah,
you,
it's still personable. I could put
Yeah.
live video streaming and just have a
Yeah.
job somewhere, and still people could still see me, still see my personality and
Yeah.
things like that. But I could never leave my house.
Yeah.
So like, what else could be better than that?
That's what my boy Chris does. Like he, for work stuff, like he hardly ever leaves the house. He might go down
Yeah, dude. There's
once
a couple
every 6
people
months
that do
into
this.
the office. They just remote
It's
in.
insane. It's insane now. It's just like, what a time to be alive. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, however you look at it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I said, you can go online and like literally look up anything you'd want to do. You want to fucking learn how to play jai-alai. You want to knit.
Yeah.
YouTube. I mean, you could Google how to change the oil in a 1992 Buick LeSabre. And
Probably give the model number and
Some redneck is like up with a Buick LeSabre on blocks. Like,
Yeah.
this is how you do this, and like,
Well,
it's
that's-
just an
and
untapped world.
That's how I had learned a lot of stuff for beekeeping.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
is doing
yeah.
that.
So you're a beekeeper, okay? I'm severely allergic to bees, like crazy allergic. One time I got stung in the forehead.
You showed me a picture.
Yeah, my eyes like swelled shut. My whole face just swelled up. So how does someone
Yeah.
even?
Last year I got stung on the side of my hand.
That was
and
the
my
first-
whole arm, like all the way up to my elbow. That was the
try
first
get-
time
try
that
to
had
get
ever
stung
done
right
that.
between the eyes. But how does someone from 10th Ward in McKeesport just decide to get into beekeeping?
Me and my dad had been talking about it for a couple years, but I mean, the initial upfront cost is kind of expensive. It's probably about $1,000 or whatever.
I have
But, I mean,
a list of
that's-
questions to ask about that.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of investment in the startup, and then we talked about it for like 2 or 3 years or whatever, and then my uncle actually surprised my dad, like not last Christmas, not the Christmas before, I think like two or three Christmases ago, with like he built us like beehives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the boxes and stuff like that. So he built us like I don't even know, maybe 8 or 10 boxes or something like that.
Now, do each one of those boxes hold a single hive?
Yeah, so you'll like have like one box and then you'll stack them up. Like you'll stack like one box and then the box and then a box on top.
So tiers of them.
Yeah.
And each separate
It
box
a-
has their
has
own
a-
hive.
Yeah, it has their own colony of bees in it.
With their own queen.
Yeah.
So how much is a colony of bees?
We paid like 120 a piece for ours or something like
Colony of bees goes for 120 nowadays. Jeez.
that. Yeah.
Damn, price of bees are going up.
And actually, over last summer, I went to a class. I paid $25 and I got another colony, but these are like special bees.
Oh, special bees.
Yeah. So there's this mite that affects bees that like destroys your colony. It's called the varroa mite.
Okay.
So what they'll do, they'll like attach to bee larvae, and they will like chew on them. So the bees will come out deformed
Jesus.
and will die like real quick. So it'll
That
basically
is some heavy shit.
it'll kill a colony. So these bees that we got, they're called mite biters, where the fucking bees that are like cleaning the hives and stuff like that will attack these motherfucking mites and will chew them up.
Jeez.
So they'll just die. Yeah, so they're
Now,
there's pretty special bees.
so
If they've survived the winter. We had a small colony and it's been pretty cold and stuff, so I'm hoping they survived.
I mean, you don't go check on them or anything like that?
Not in the wintertime, no.
Oh, really?
Not with the snow and the cold and stuff. Yeah, we just let them go.
Okay, so we have to rewind this because I want to know from the beginning. So you got these boxes of bees.
Yeah.
Or you got these boxes first.
Yep.
Then who do you contact to get a hive of bees?
We took like
or colony.
we took a Beekeeping 101 class.
Okay.
So I knew that my dad was getting the hives for Christmas. So what I
Where
did,
the fuck do you take a Beekeeping 101 class?
they have one in Pittsburgh. There's a organization called Berg Bees.
Berg Bees.
Yeah. They run an apiary in Homewood too. So there's like there might be like 25 different hives down in Homewood.
That is insane.
Yeah. So we took that class, and then the guy who was running the class runs Berg Bees, so we bought some off of him.
Now, what is like a class? Is a class pretty much just like from beginning to end? Like
Yeah, it was like
it
was just like a introduction to like bee biology and
Did you feel
how to
you learned
care
a lot?
for your hive. Oh yeah, absolutely.
How long was it?
It was like 3 days for like 2.5, 3 hours or something like that at night.
Beekeeping.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So now, after you take this class, you got these boxes. Then you hit up the guy from Berg's Bees. Shout out Berg's Bees.
Yeah,
and
Berg's
you got now. Did you start out with one colony, two colony? Like how many colonies?
Two. So we have 3 now though.
Okay, so around how many bees are in a colony, or does it matter? Or is it varies?
It varies in time of the year and stuff like that. But like at like apex of the season, there's probably like 15, 20, 25,000 bees. Like
Jesus
in one colony.
Christ!
Yeah, they're.
How do you even get them? Like you went and you bought this. I mean, the going rate for bees now is 120. So you paid this dude 120 for
Well,
a
we
colony.
paid him 240.
Oh, so you got 2 colonies?
Yeah.
No deals? No price
deals.
breaks on bees?
No. This is no buying in bulk. Don't get you no
Wholesale
deals.
prices for bees.
Yeah.
So you got these bees, but like so how do they get transported? Like how do you adapt them to your spot? Like I know this is a
Yeah,
obviously you can't get too crazy into it.
They'll like they're from around here. Like the colonies are like grown here, so they're adapted to our weather.
Mm-hmm.
But they come in like a little box. What's called a nuke. It has like 3 frames in it or 5 frames in it, and it's basically they're allowed to go in and out up until I come to pick them up. And then they'll just put a piece of tape over the entrance, and then I'll take them home.
Okay.
And then I'll take them out of there and put them in the thing.
Now, obviously, you have like the whole like get up and everything.
Yeah.
How many times have you been stung since you've been beekeeping?
In 2.5 years, I've probably been stung. Maybe 6 or 7 times.
That's it.
My dad got hit on the head 3 times in one go. Oh man, it was so funny. And when we first
That's bad luck.
when we first got him, this motherfucker was out there like inspecting him in his fucking bathrobe. And so he went, and there was like some bees in the nuke that we brought home and stuff like that. And the guy from Berg Bees told him, he said, "Yeah, man, just slam it on the ground. The bees will come out. They'll go into the new hive." So this motherfucker was out there, slammed it in his fucking bathrobe. He had bees going up his legs, stinging him on his fucking thighs and stuff like that. Yeah, he got hit a bunch.
Now, like
he's been hit a lot. He might have been hit like a dozen or so
like, I would
times, maybe
die.
15 times. Like, he's
if
been
I got
hit a
stung in
lot.
the neck, I would die. That's what the doctor said to me. He was like, "Do you have an EpiPen?" I was like, "Nope."
We carry those too.
He was like, "Well, what would happen if you got stung in the throat?" I was like, "Good question." He was like, "You probably would have been in a bad shape." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I probably would have. I probably get one."
My sister's allergic to bees too, so we have those. We have those on hand, like just in case.
Now, like from beginning to harvest of the honey, what is that time period?
Usually the bees come out beginning of April or so, and so it's going to be different this season. So we're going to let the bees go the whole year, and then we're going to harvest next spring because we just got an extractor, which will cut the tops of the honeycomb off, and then it spins really quick. So it's like centrifugal force shoots the honey
crazy.
out. Yeah. So
I hope I get some of that.
Oh, absolutely, man. Did I give you something last time?
No, I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were farming bees.
Yeah.
So I was late to the party.
So we'll leave that into the spring, and then so the bees use like a ton of energy and a ton of pollen, like making the cells for their honeycomb. So we're just gonna like cut a thin layer off the top, spin it, get the honey out, and then put that back in. So it's already almost all the way built, so that they can
redo it again.
Redo it, like right away without having to expend all that energy.
Now, like what does a colony of bees yield as far as like volume of honey?
So we,
I'm sure it's all different.
One of our hives didn't produce very much. So this is just off two. One of our hives didn't produce very much. We got one hive that had like one of the biggest boxes, and then like a medium-sized box, and the other one did like a small box.
Okay.
And that gave us a little over 5 gallons of honey.
Oh, really? That much?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a decent amount.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Now, I mean, I'm sure you could definitely taste the difference of like store-bought honey compared to like raw honey.
Yeah, and we don't pasteurize it, so we don't boil it or nothing like that. It's literally
100%
straight up raw
honey.
Yeah.
And it's
we filter it and stuff, so there's no bee parts in it or anything.
Yeah. Like bee parts, legs and shit like that, thorax. So I mean, like, I just think that that's very, very interesting. Being you see this shit online, and you're like, these motherfuckers running around with these big ass cloaks with these smoke. Like, do you use a smoke gun and everything?
I have been recently, only because.
What does that do?
So it basically numbs the like senses of the bees, like the smelling sense mainly, so that they can't smell you being around the hive.
They
so it
can't
makes
just
them less.
See you?
Not really. They're not really paying attention to that. They have they have like a one-track mind.
Yeah.
So the worker bees are out either foraging pollen or taking care of the honeycomb. The queen strictly is laying eggs.
Oh yeah.
The males are going out trying to. They're down to fuck. So they're just trying to go out and impregnate other queens.
That is nuts.
Yeah. So the males actually, they don't even, if they are not mated by the end of the season, the males, they're kicked out of the hive and killed by the worker bees. Yeah. Yeah. Those bitches, those bitches
kicked
don't
out
play.
Of the hive and killed.
Yeah.
Now
they don't play.
Geez, so you're saying like after you harvest this honey and stuff like that, like during the wintertime, there's still bees in this hive right now. Hopefully, that are still alive.
Yeah. So what
and
they'll
they just
do
don't
is
come out?
No, they'll clump up and they'll fan their wings to like regulate the temperature inside the hive, and they'll make a bigger clump or a like wider clump around the queen based on the temperature, because they want to keep her alive, because they know that she's their lifeblood.
Yeah.
So they'll do whatever they have to do to keep her alive.
That is insane to me. I mean, that's cool. You enjoy it though.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, for Christmas this year, I had a custom hive tool made for my dad.
Custom hive tool.
Yeah, some blacksmith. I hired this blacksmith to like pound it out, and he put like Papa Bear in there.
That's
like
fucking dope.
It.
See,
Yeah,
I fuck with all that stuff where it's
awesome.
like the unique, significant,
Yeah,
like them knives that I got John and my brother. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do cool shit like that. Might as well, right?
Yeah, if
you're gonna do it, you might as well.
If I
make
can
it
find
cool.
like a little artisan or something like that to do it, I mean, I'll pay more than what I would have at Walmart or whatever.
Yeah,
because,
fuck yeah. You got to support the local businesses.
Yeah, man.
So your dad's like real into it.
Yeah, into that, and so we like on at my parents' house,
Yeah.
we try to cram as much stuff in a little plot of land as we can. So we had chickens, ducks, and then we're talking about getting goats in the springtime.
Jesus.
Yeah, and we have our yard is landscaped. We have ponds and
Now,
vegetables and fruits and
Rogan
everything.
is like, I mean, the podcast god, so I mean, I listen to him a lot. He has chickens as well, and he said that they're just fucking savages.
They are, man. So we had disclaimer: we don't have chickens right this second because a raccoon came in, ate all of our ducks. And then the next, because we didn't have a lock on our duck house, so he ate like 8 ducks, went out, and then my dad came home like drunk the next night, forgot to lock the chicken coop, got in the chicken coop, and ate 5 chickens.
Oh my god! In one night,
yeah, I heard him eating one of them. I heard him eating one of them, and I went out back with like a metal rod because I was gonna beat this motherfucker. But as soon as I like got into the backyard, he like ran away, but I saw the one chicken there like shaking and shit, so I just
put it out.
I just threw it over the yard. Like,
didn't even kill it.
No, I just let the raccoon kill it.
That's some savage shit.
But yeah, so long story short, no, so we had 5 chickens
in 2 nights. He got 9 birds.
9 or 10.
Dude,
like
that is like, one raccoon just took you out.
Big motherfucker.
Genocide.
Dude. But yeah, the chickens they are savage. They establish a pecking order, and it's like if the chicken's not following it, like we had one chicken that had all of her feathers on her back were just all fucking bit off and stuff because she was getting picked on by the other ones.
Wow. Yeah, Rogan said that like he'll just sit there and he said he'll get high and just like watch his chickens. And there was a story he had of like they found like what are they called? It's like a little mouse. It has like no skin. It looks like just a little ball of skin.
Like a mole?
Yeah, almost like that. But he said that his daughter picked it up and was like trying to like nurse it and things like that. And he was like, honey, it's not gonna work. Like this thing's gonna die. So after she he convinced her, he took it and he threw it, and the chickens went crazy.
Yeah.
And he was like, I had no idea that they like were carnivores and shit like that.
They'll pick at anything really.
And I mean
they'll try it. And then it's like if they don't like it, then they won't eat it again.
And you get, I mean, like whenever you had chickens, you got a lot of eggs from them.
Oh yeah. I mean, it seemed like some of the chickens were like laying like 2 eggs a day. Like we
really,
we had so many.
I don't understand the different. Like I mean, maybe I should know this. Maybe it's a dumb question. Like if a chicken lays an egg, how
does it get fertilized or what?
I mean, I guess
like you need a rooster for that. We don't have a rooster.
If it lays an egg.
Yeah. Like like the rooster will fertilize the eggs before they get laid. So if you don't have a rooster around, then they're just like eggs you would get at a store or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was always curious.
And
about
roosters, those motherfuckers are ruthless, dude. If you mess with they fucking keep the hens in line and stuff like that. And if anybody, like, they will fuck you up. They will come running at you and like jump with their claws and their feet
their
up.
big ass talons.
Fuck you up.
I bet. Like just from hearing him talk about it, it's pretty wild. Now, do you are you making alcohol now?
Yeah. Right now I have some fig wine being made, and I have some mead from our honey being made.
You're making mead too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I just tried some actually the other day up at Industry.
Yeah.
I think it was actually honey mead.
Mm-hmm. That's what mine's gonna be. I don't have no kind of extra flavors or in it or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean it's just not for me. But I mean
it's gonna be sweet as fuck.
That's what it was. It was super sweet and like it wasn't bad. It's just like if it was a juice, I would drink it, but like I'm not trying to get like blitzed off of like this cup of juice because like I can just put it down real quick.
Super duper dehydrated.
But so like, what's the process? Like, my buddy made some wine, and I kind of seen a little bit. Like I saw he had them kegs, and like they were doing all that. So like, what made you want to get into that? Like,
my uncle makes wine all the time, so he'll make like distilled liquors and stuff like that. He'll make it all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's not complicated to make wine.
No, it's simple. I mean, you get some juice, you throw some additives in there, you throw some yeast in there, and
just let it go.
The main thing is keeping everything sterile. When you're working on it, like if you're like you got to make sure you wash everything out, and then you hit it with some like food grade sanitizer so that it kills all the bacteria and fungus.
That's wild. That's definitely wild.
Yeah, but that's the hardest part.
What other weird shit you do? You make soap?
No, but I've wanted to though.
You don't make no beeswax soap or anything?
No, actually, my sister has all the beeswax.
What do you do with all that? Like, what are you gonna do with
her
that?
to make me some like lip balm and
wax
hand
bottles
lotion
with
and
the
stuff
little
like
juice
that.
in it.
Yeah. Here, you little bite the little top off and get the juice.
For some reason, I used to be obsessed with them things.
Dude, me too.
I used to buy the wax bottles that right now are just terrible. It's literally just sugar water.
Yeah.
And what else did I like? I like them wafers with the sprinkles in it.
Oh, the saucers or whatever. Yeah, I fuck with them.
Yeah, for sure.
No, man, the Reese's Fast Break. Were you on that Reese's Fast Break game yet, or what?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh man, I sent you a picture of it and everything. This is a couple months ago, but
what was it?
The candy bar? Yeah, Reese's Fast Break.
I don't know if I'm not I mean, like, I don't really choose Reese's myself to eat. If I'm buying a candy bar, I'm buying a Kit Kat or a Snickers.
Get out of here.
It depends. Bro, Reese's?
Yeah, it's a Fast Break though. It's got nougat, peanut butter, and chocolate, dude.
I'm iffy about peanut butter.
Super fire.
I'm the only way I'm eating a Reese's is if it's been in the freezer and it's cold as fuck. But other than that, I don't mess around with nothing else. But yeah, man, like I think the bee thing is probably the most fascinating thing to me because like I'm allergic, so
yeah,
I wouldn't even like have an idea about that.
No, it's definitely probably my favorite hobby, I think.
Yeah. What other hobbies do you have now? I mean, you are still playing soccer.
Yeah.
You're still coaching.
Remember when you came and played for us that one game?
Yeah, and I got
broke your finger on the
post. So Jay and my brother, they play futsal. And for anyone that doesn't know what that is, give them an idea. Like compared to a regular soccer ball.
So it is 5-on-5, a 4 and a goalie, and it's on a smaller court with a weighted ball. Not like super heavy. It's a little heavier than a regular soccer ball.
Definitely heavier than a soccer ball.
A little smaller than a regular soccer ball. So and the court is like a lot shorter. So it's quick back and forth game.
Basically like the arena football version of soccer.
Yeah.
Now, I am 6 foot, 285, 290 pounds on a bad day. Now, Jay and my brother, they call me and they say, "Hey, we need a goalie." I played goalie for hockey. I played soccer goalie long ago in Boys and Girls Club in McKeesport.
Yeah.
So they go, "Come on, like we're pretty good. Like you won't have nothing to worry about." So I get there, and there's this just straight up African dude, and my brother goes, "That's what's his name? Francis."
Yeah.
I knew his name. I still do his name. My brother looks at me and he says, "That's Francis. He got scouted to play. He's going to destroy you." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Dude, just watch him." And I look at this dude warming up, making the craziest corner goals I've ever seen in my life. And I was like,
had I known that we were like playing that team beforehand, I probably wouldn't have asked you to come.
Bro, they didn't even give me no fucking goalie gloves. I had bare hands, and this dude is rifling these balls. You might as well put it into a fucking cannon and shot it at me. So I wasn't quick enough to do anything. So I would just get in front of the ball and let it hit off me. So by the end of the day, I had these welts just on my body. I look like a twister board, and like they're all sitting there and they're just like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, like just you're doing great." And I'm just like, "Oh yeah, doing great." Like I don't do well with whenever I'm just getting shit on in a sport. So yeah, this dude just schooled me all night. We didn't lose too bad, but that's because you guys are definitely a nasty team. But it was just very overwhelming, and yeah, he just completely shit on me.
Yeah.
Got mad that day, punched the goalie net, and hurt my hand. But and that was the last experience I had playing futsal. Which John just asked me. He said that he might ask me again to come play a goalie. He said sometimes you need one.
Yeah, he's not our team though. He plays on another team.
Yeah.
He plays on Sundays down at Cool Springs.
Yeah, I probably won't come anyway. I don't have any time doing this fucking podcast for everyone. Hopefully everyone likes it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, I think you're an interesting dude.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate you asking to come on here.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I was gonna say it was mainly in jest, and then you were like, "Yeah, man, come on." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess I
mean,
should."
like, why not? You're a fucking beekeeper. You make alcohol. I mean, you're just a wild dude. I feel like you're interesting. If I didn't think you were interesting, I would have told you no. I mean, straight up.
Well, I
but
appreciate it. I felt maybe you were meeting all these other people like at other places where they do their art and things like. Maybe we should have like met down at Western Psych at the deck.
we could have did that. Would have been like
hung out in one of the rooms and
in what's it called? What's the Adam Sandler movie with the one where Drew Barrymore just can't remember shit.
50 First Dates.
Hi, I'm Tom. Hi, I'm Tom. Dude doesn't remember anything for 10 seconds. But yeah, regardless. So I have this segment on all my podcasts.
Yeah.
Desert Island Questions.
Yeah.
You're a fan of the podcast. You listen to them, so you obviously know what this is. But for anyone who's not a fan and might be listening for the first time, Desert Island Questions is a game made up by me where I very graciously gave you 3 choices for 3 different categories to take with you on a desert island if you straight up pulled a castaway like Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks and got stuck there. So for 3 movies you would take on a desert island.
So Nightmare Before Christmas is definitely one of them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, man, I fuck with that heavy. Like I have a Pandora station for it. And I've downvoted like every other song except for songs from Nightmare Before
Really?
Christmas. Yeah, fucking love that.
That was probably that was one of the more frequent movies that I watched back in the day. What would you consider that, Christmas or Halloween?
I think it's a combination of both. Like I think it's in its own category where it can be watched on Christmas or Halloween.
Exactly. Like you can watch it for either.
Yeah.
I think it weighs a little bit more Christmassy.
Thing.
Yeah, I watch it. I mean, like I honestly don't watch it during Halloween just because Halloween you got all kinds of wonderful horror movies and things like that. But Christmas time that does both purposes. That it scratches my horror itch and it still has the Christmassy theme. Mm-hmm. But so Nightmare Before Christmas.
And if I can lump anything Star Wars together, I'll take that. But if you're gonna make me choose just one,
just one of them.
It's gotta be Empire Strikes Back.
Empire?
Yeah, Empire's best, man.
Who's your favorite character in Star Wars?
Probably Vader.
I'm looking at his arm right now, and he has a nasty sleeve. Darth Vader.
I got the Emperor underneath, and then I got a TIE fighter up here.
He got both logos.
I'm gonna work on this sleeve next, but yeah, man. Everybody should check out my man Steve Irwin down at Four Horsemen Tattoo.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, I know, right?
The crocodile hunter. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, my man's got a stingray like in a bottle, like up on a shelf where he tattoos that. Yeah, because everybody that does that to him, the crocodile hunter. But yeah, no, my man, he does some really good work, like this watercolor Vader and
like that's Emperor. Crazy. I don't think I've seen nice. The Emperor.
Yeah, I just got the Emperor done not too long ago, and TIE Fighter.
I'm going to take a good look at that after.
Put the Death Star up here around my elbow, and then fill all the rest in with black.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. I'm excited.
I'm a fan of tattoos. You got your other Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, my Kingdom Hearts tattoo. It's a video game.
Yeah, that's I've still have never played that in my entire life.
Yeah, Disney Final Fantasy mashup, yeah.
I probably should. I'm not a big fan though. So you have
Empire, Nightmare Before Christmas, and the third one. Man, I don't even know if I need a third one after Empire, honestly.
Got to pick one.
All right. Hit the He-Man and Masters of the Universe movie with Dolph Lundgren.
He-Man and Masters of the Universe.
Dude, it's so good.
Dude, that's why I ask these questions, because you never know what people are going to say.
I mean, it's not really that good, but it's good.
A fellow McKeesport resident was on here the other day, and he also mentioned Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, very, very much to my surprise. I would have never in a million years put Nightmare Before Christmas in his list. But
Nightmare's, it's amazing.
Nightmare, Empire Strikes Back, and Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, like the 1987, Courtney Cox's first movie.
Dude, 80s movies were the best. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, hands down. Okay, so are you a reader?
Not so much. Like
Okay.
I want to be.
To make it more interesting, I want you to be able to pick 3 video games to take.
Okay. Well, so just for one book.
Okay.
Just because I do have this.
Give
one
me
book,
any
I was
books
thinking
you know.
The Wizard of Oz is hands down my favorite book. Like if you read like the actual one from like Frank L. Baum back in the day, like the fucking scarecrow is like wringing like crows' necks.
Oh, really?
The Tin Woodsman is like chopping the heads off of fucking wolves and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Wow, I never
Yeah,
knew that.
It's really good.
Usually a lot of the Disney movies are adapted from dark things.
go.
Like when's the last time you watched the original Snow White?
Long while.
Insane. Like, can you believe that? Like, I was watching this with my buddy has kids now, so it was on, and I was like, I cannot believe I watched this shit back then, because it's terrifying now. Honestly, it's just one big. It looks like just one big trip.
Yeah,
It's just like whoever was writing that was
And
just
that's-
tripping.
It's like the original like German Cinderella. Like I watched like a short of it or something like that, and it was like in like actual German, and they were like to make the stepsister's foots fit in like the glass slipper. They were like cutting piece of their feet off and doing just wild shit.
It's
Like,
Peter Pan was actually about like a vampire that like took little kids, killed little kids and shit. Yeah, dude. Someone actually told me that because of the whole Lost Boys thing.
damn.
But so Wizard of Oz is a wild book, huh?
Yeah, it's good.
I might actually look into that.
Yeah, I like it. And everybody says like, "Oh, Alice in Wonderland." I was bored as hell with Alice in Wonderland, but
I
Wizard of
fucked with
Oz.
Narnia. I'm trying to read that.
I want to read the Hunger Games books.
Oh, I read the
Yeah.
first one. I have it. I'll give you it once I'm
Yeah.
done here. Just remind me. So
3 video games.
yeah, 3 video games.
Ocarina of Time has to be one.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and BioShock. The first one.
BioShock.
Yeah, first one.
Okay.
Real good.
Okay.
They got a real sick twist to it, and it's real good. It's real good.
I mean, I feel like to be fair though, I have to allow you to take. I have to allow you to choose board games. So between 3 board games, just because obviously I know that you're real heavy into games, and I haven't asked that to anyone yet.
I don't know. Board games, I'm not.
I wouldn't say board games then.
Ruin. Yeah, if you,
D&D.
I mean, yeah. If I could
Take some
figure
dice.
out a way to play D&D by myself, I definitely would.
Yeah.
But even like I wouldn't take any board game over a video game. I don't think.
No.
No,
Hero Quest.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, Hero Quest is dope.
That was like your brother's like prescription pain pills to D&D being his heroin.
Yep.
Like it.
Yep, that was a catalyst.
Yeah.
That was everything. So for anyone who doesn't know, Hero Quest is a game that is pretty much a board game adaptation of Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, it has figurines. First of all, it's from like the late 80s, and they stopped making it. And it's just such a wild game. If anyone is interested in board games and shit like that, just Google it and look what some of the pictures are and everything like that. You build along the way. So like,
out.
let's say that you look at the board and there's like a bunch of different rooms. You start out all the characters in one room, and let's say you walk out of a room and you turn to the left. There is a dungeon master that populates the map and only puts pieces of things that you would physically be able to see with your line of eyesight.
Yeah.
Definitely a wild game. It's hard to picture for someone who hasn't seen it. Google it. You won't be upset.
Yeah, and with the internet, they've come up with all kinds of custom campaigns.
Yeah, custom
and stuff.
campaigns.
Like,
And it's just something you could
pretty
play
cool.
over and over again because they have like books of different storylines and
Yeah.
campaigns. But okay, so D&D, and then probably the most difficult question for people to ask is if 3 musical albums
Mm-hmm.
you could take.
Oh man, probably Slipknot, like the first
yeah?
song. Yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah. Probably. Well, if I can lump together all the Beatles stuff on one big discography, I'll take that.
All the Beatles.
Yeah, I mean, I fuck with the Beatles heavy, but if you're gonna make me choose, I'd have to take Abbey Road from the Beatles, and then probably like Queen's Greatest Hits or something like that.
Man, I love Queen.
Yeah.
I cannot
I think
wait.
Freddie Mercury is the best male vocalist to ever like walk the planet.
Did you see
Absolutely.
the guy who
amazing.
plays iRobot? I can't remember his name, but he is playing Freddie Mercury in the adaptation.
Will Smith.
No, or wait, what's that? What's the TV show? It's not called iRobot. It's the
Not Westworld.
no. It's the fuck. You know what? People that are listening right now just have to wait. It's a show on TNT. iRobot or Mr. Robot.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
iRobot. Will Smith.
Mr. Robot. Anything
There's a dude
like
that's in the
Freddie
TV
Mercury.
show, and he's playing Freddie Mercury, and there's like some screenshots of him like dressed up as him, and it seriously looks insane. Speaking of the Beatles, the guy who my buddy Dylan, who took my photos the other day, was saying, I asked him, like, I was like, what's some of your favorite music? And he was like, I love the Beatles. And I was told him, I was like, I'm not a huge fan. Like, I like some of them, but he was telling me that I need to dive very, very deep into them because like their hits are good, but like it's not like they have way more better shit.
Like beyond the studio stuff. They just have so much music, and they innovated and pioneered so many different, not like musical varieties, but ways to produce music and stuff like that.
I told him I'll check it out for sure.
When I was in Cuba, they on every street corner I'm like walking through the streets of Havana and stuff like that, and I fucking hear the Beatles. I'm like, I stopped to ask people like, why so much Beatles music? They said, we fucking love the Beatles and this.
Oh yeah.
So it was
wow,
huge in Cuba.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So the Beatles. Was that 3?
Yeah, Queen.
Yeah.
Beatles, and
Queen,
Slipknot.
Beatles, and Slipknot. Those are good answers. That's a nice variety.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could sprinkle a bit of like old school, like Dre and Snoop too.
Yeah, a little bit hip hop.
Yeah,
got to, right?
Absolutely.
Tap into it a little bit. Okay, and the last and most important question, I'm anxious to hear your answer, is if you could have a conversation with one person, alive or dead, who would it be?
Oh man, actually, I was like, after listening to all your podcasts, and I'm pondering on this question, like, who would it be? Like, it would be cool to like talk to Gandhi, or it'd be cool to like talk to Lincoln or Washington or like somebody famous like that. But then I just kept coming back to
Steve Irwin.
Kept coming back to my grandmother.
Yeah,
on my mom's side.
Yeah, I would 100% talk to my grandfather.
She was like the first grandparent to die out of like all 4 of them. And
how old were you?
I was in college. It was my first year in college.
Okay.
So when I was up at Penn State, it was like right when it was like December of that year, and I don't know. She was just always so loving and inviting for all my friends. Like I wouldn't even call or nothing. I would just randomly bring people to her house, and she'd be like, "Oh, we're so happy to see you," and it would cook us dinner and everything like that. So it was.
Yeah, my grandfather
nice.
died whenever I was probably in 10th grade, and it's like I think of this like, I mean, the older I get, the more and more I think about like how much like I neglected the time that I had with him, and like he was sick for so long with like he had cancer. So
she had died from like lung cancer, like from secondhand smoke from my grandfather. So.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
10 years before he passed away, the doctor said you have 6 months to live. He fucking lived for a decade.
Damn.
Just a badass, just a wise person. Same thing that we'd have Sunday dinners there, and he was just like, he had like untapped knowledge. And I just remember being like in middle school, and my mom saying like, oh, like we gotta go see Pap, like we're gonna go there after church, and I'm just like, oh, I want to go home and play video games or like do something. And it's like I think of that now, and it's like I'm not too hard on myself about it because like, I mean, you don't know. It's like you're not doing this thing. You're not doing it like if I would know what I know now, I would have obviously like took that opportunity.
I would definitely have liked to interact with her like as the more of an adult.
Exactly, like someone that like has had some experiences and like learned and got a little bit more educated. I would just like to have like an educated conversation with him and just like sit there and talk with him one night and just like see where it would go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it would be a time is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it sucks that we're all gonna die.
It gets to us all.
And it's to end on that depressing note.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh no, man.
No, but I do appreciate you coming on. I'm anxious to see all the new shit you get into, making soap, building an ark.
Yeah.
Oh man,
milking goats. Like if we get goats, like you better believe soap and fucking cheese is
goat
coming.
cheese and everything like that. It's just like what a time to be alive. It's
No
like
doubt.
we progress all this and all this technology, and we're like, we're gonna start making cheese from goat milk. You know what I mean? It's an interesting world that we live in right now.
It is. It's fun.
Well, this is a segment.
Got to stay optimistic too.
Yeah, the glass is always half full,
Yeah.
especially for me. This is a segment that I ask everyone, or I tell everyone that they could plug whatever they have.
Oh yeah, man. I don't really have anything.
Nothing too
For
much.
personal, you can check out the club that I coach for, Barbarians.
That's what I
the
was waiting
Barbarians.
for.
Barbarianfutsal.com on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. We're
Give them
gonna
a
be
peek.
finishing up our season here shortly, but you can check out our YouTube channel and check out us shitting on people. Check out my man Steve Irwin at 4 Horsemen Tattoo in White Oak.
That's what's up. I'm gonna take a couple pictures of that just to post so people could see it.
Yeah, man.
But and for everyone else, I appreciate everyone listening as always. On episode, what is this? This is going to be episode 10.
Oh yeah, my
Episode
soccer number.
10. This is a little milestone for us, and
Yeah,
that's
Yeah, I'm happy to be
Jay
on for that.
specifically asked for episode 10 because it's his soccer number. So, what better reason than to give him that? And what better guest than to have him for my 10th episode?
Yeah, man.
So, here's to
Hopefully
many more.
Hopefully I get the call up again at some point
Absolutely.
in the far future.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you on again. And I appreciate everyone listening for 10 episodes. I mean, I'm just talking shit with people. I'm very, very uneducated, and I have a speech impediment, and I appreciate you listening. I mean, had to take some getting through to get to this.
Nah,
But,
man, you're good.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and leave some feedback so I can know what I'm doing well and what I could do better. Follow me on social media, Facebook, I'll Call You Right Back Podcast, Instagram at I'll Call You Right Back, Twitter at ICYRB Podcast, or you can email me at I'll Call You Right Back at Gmail and just give me some info. Let me know who you want to see on here. I've been working on getting some awesome guests. Like in the next few weeks, we're going to have some really good people coming up. And I appreciate everyone listening again, and I'll call you right back.
Save the bees.